How to evaluate algebraic expressions. This is Kisembo Academy, and thanks for tuning in. Let's get it off with this first example. We have 2x plus 1. They're asking us to evaluate 2x plus 1 if x is 3. This is an algebraic expression with x as a variable. We do not know x. So if the value of x is 3, they are saying, what is the value of this expression? So all we shall do is substitute. 2x plus 1 is going to be equal to, so it's going to become 2 times x. Our value of x is 3, so it's 2 times 3 plus 1. And that's going to become 2 times 3, which is 6 plus 1. And our answer is going to be 7. That's how we evaluate that. Next example. We are being required to evaluate this with our value of b being 2. So we shall substitute our value of b 2 here. So this 3b over 4 plus 2b is going to become 3. Our value of b is 2. So it's 3 times 2. Divide that by 4 plus 2 times b, which is 2. And we shall get our answer as 6 over 4 plus 2 times 2 is 4. And our answer here is going to become 6 over 4 plus 4, which is 8. And of course, when we simplify this further, when we divide 6 by 2, we get 3. When we divide 8 by 2, we get 4. So our value is 3/4. In our next example, they are asking us to evaluate 8p plus q over 2 if p is a half and q is an eighth. Still, we are going to substitute. The thing is 8p plus q over 2 is going to be equal to 8 times our value of p. Our value of p is a half, so it's going to be 8 times a half plus q. Our value of q is 1 over 8, so plus q, which is an eighth. Divide that by 2. So this is going to become 8 times a half, which is 8 over 2 plus an eighth over 2. Now an eighth over 2 is giving us 1 over 16. So 8 over 2 plus 1 over 16 gives us 65 over 16 as our answer. So basically that's how we evaluate some of these algebraic expressions. We simply substitute for the unknown and we are able to find the value of the algebraic expression. Now let's take note of these following. Sometimes we have terms such as 6p, 3x, and so forth within our algebraic expressions. Now these terms involve two numbers being multiplied. As you can see here, we are having 6 being multiplied by p. That's why it's being called 6p. This is 3 being multiplied by x. That's why we are calling it 3x. Now these terms that are involving two numbers being multiplied are called factors. This 6 is a factor, and then this p is also a factor, and same as that. Now the two numbers being multiplied together when one of the factors is variable are written without the multiplication sign. That is why you see 6. If this 6x, 3y, 4z, xy are, it is because we are multiplying a number, a factor 6, by a variable. We multiply 3, which is a factor, by a variable. When you multiply a factor by a variable, you don't need to put the multiplication sign. You just look at, call it 6p or 3x. So that is one issue we need to know. The next, when a factor is multiplied by a variable, the factor is called the coefficient of that number. For example, in our case here, the coefficient of p here is 6. The coefficient of this variable x is 3. The coefficient of x here is 6. Coefficient of y is 3. Coefficient of z is 4. That is only when a coefficient is multiplied by a variable. When the factor is multiplied by the variable, that factor becomes the coefficient of that number. So the other thing we need to take note of is that when we have a number that is raised to a certain power, such as this one, x to the power 3, then it simply means that we are supposed to multiply this value of x by 3 times. So that's why x to the power 3 is x times x times x. We shall look at that in detail when we explore indices. This brings us to the end of this video. Up next is more of this. I urge you to stay tuned in. For more videos, please remember to subscribe. This is Arnold Rangakuramia on behalf of Kisembo Academy.